Hey everyone, this time on Tim Talks Audio, we're going to talk about how subtleties can make a big difference. Hi, if you're new to the channel, my name is Tim. I'm a recording and mixing engineer, and I just want to make things easier for you guys. Today we're going to be talking about consoles and tape, two things from the analog days that we can still use in the digital world now. And even by just throwing them on and not manipulating anything, we can get some pretty drastic changes. These are subtle, but they're additive. Let's dive into the DAW. Okay, so here we are inside of our session, and as you can see, it is just a volume and pan balance. Way over here, I have some reverbs and some delays going on, but there is no plugins anywhere. No mix bus, no sub bus, no individual channels. Here is our starting point. So that's our starting point. Now, when I was talking before, I said subtle differences can add up. Let's do exactly that. Let's start with step one, and I'm going to grab all of my sub buses. So things like my drums, this percussion channel, and this is just a channel, but you'll see what I'm going to do in a little bit. That's my bass, my guitars, and over here is my synths. And I'm holding commands and clicking on the individuals. That would be control on a PC if you want to do the same thing. And on just my buses, I want to have some tape saturation for this instance. So I'm just going to throw on this one from Arturia because I like it kind of a lot and it's new. This is the J37 from them, and I'm not going to change anything. Just whatever its default is, this is what I'm going to start with. Now let's do another example, and while I'm playing, I'm going to turn this off. I have a button on my fader port that's going to turn the plugin off on all of these buses, and you'll hear a difference. Take a listen. We're going to start with it off. All right, I'm going to tell you what to listen for because I want you to train your ears for this. Most importantly is listen to the bass guitar, and I hope you can hear it, but you want to listen to the mid-range of the bass guitar because it will kind of open up a little and you'll hear that bass kind of poke out and things will start to smooth out. The super lows get nice and smooth, but they get punchy. The top end kind of rolls off, but in a nice musical way. Let's do that one more time. We're starting off, and after a couple of seconds, I'll turn it on. Okay, now we're at our next step, and I did this, in the edit for you guys, only because some of these channels are mono and some are stereo, and you want that to follow through if you're using a certain kind of plugin that has a mono version or a stereo version. And in this instance, what we're using is a channel strip, and then we're using the tried and true and the classic Waves SSL channel strip. So if you're using this one and following along, just make sure you have a stereo channel on your stereo channels and a mono channel on your mono channels. But watch what happens with every single channel with a console strip emulation on it, and every single bus with a tape emulation on it, and what this does to the sound. Mind you, we haven't changed anything. We just put these plugins on. But inherently, they are doing some processing. Take a listen. We're going to start with everything off. All right, we're going to do one more test so I can show you the before and after and what the analog and emulation plugins are really doing when we put them on without manipulating anything. I've taken my vocals out and I have volume matched these. I made a music bus because that's everything that we've been affecting. And I just threw a gain plugin on here, mix tool within Studio One, and I dropped the output of all of my music by 2 dB over here. This is to volume match the before and after. Sure, we're getting a little bit of a volume bump, but I've negated that with this move, and I want you to listen to the changes. Pay close attention, put your headphones in, listen on your studio monitors, and listen to the center and what happens here, and also listen to the sides, the top, the bottom, the front to back. There's a lot of changes that are going to happen here. I'm going to quiet down, and you're going to listen. Here we go. Did you hear what I was talking about there? These subtleties and listening to these little differences as a mix engineer can take you from an amateur decent mix to a pro level mix. Hearing these little things and using them to your advantage, using some of this saturation to add in some fullness in your mid-range, using it to enhance the top end, to create depth. There is a lot of things that can happen with these subtle differences, but they all add up and they all make for your production. I hope this video inspires you to try saturation and channel strips in your production and to really train your ears on those small details. Because even though people like you and I are the only ones who are going to hear them, the general masses and the general listener will notice these things even if they can't place what is happening. They know that something is different. They know that something is here. But they don't need to know what you did or what's happening. They just need to know that it sounds really cool. That's all for this one. Thank you for watching. If you found anything informative, let me know in the comments. Tell me if you do this on your productions and which channel strip is your favorite. I want to know. Let's talk there. Or if you want to talk over on Discord, we can always do that and have an active discussion with the entire community. So make sure to join the Discord. And until next time, happy mixing.